So good afternoon everyone to the Sim Lab. So this is our second Sim Lab what we are starting for this current or semester for your Sim Lab programming part. So in the last class we dealt about the basic information related to manufacturing, how it is related to computer integrated manufacturing, what are its benefits and what are the advanced tool about Sim also. And also we just checked out related to some concepts on hydraulics, pneumatics, and some part of robotics also. So later we just discussed about the syllabus, which are you need to do in part A and part B, and the scheme of evaluation. For you all, it is not 80-20, it is 60-40 scheme. So I just revised it at the end because I had shown first the previous syllabus part for you people. So that was related to the last session we dealt about. So now before going into the simulation and writing the CNC part programming, you should know the basics of part programming, why it is written, what are the operations we follow, which are the G codes and M codes which has to be used. So if you are very thorough about the G codes, M codes, and like the software package you should be knowing, like CNC turn and CNC milling thing, and also capstone and caps mill. So these are the things what you should be aware about. So you will be first writing the program manually and then you can draft it in the program, and then you will simulate, and if any errors you will check and see the verification part of it. If you have any syntax error, then it shows you the errors in the software when you use. So before going to that, you should be thorough with the G codes and M codes, why it is used, what are the terminologies it is exactly, when you have to use, right? How to use a part program, writing without can cycle and with can cycle. With can cycle also always helps to reduce the number of lines what you have to draft in and also time period. So without can cycle, the program becomes very lengthier and it will be a suffocated part if you are programming to do a big operation, having more than 2-3 operation like drilling, milling operation, thread cutting, groove cutting, yeah, whatever. So always it is preferable to go with can cycle than that of without can cycle. So this is the basic prerequisite information what I'm just gathering you guys before starting about our actual programming aspects. So from the next class, we will be using the software. So I will be teaching you to do an part programming. So you will be writing it, and later the recording option of the simulation in the software will be shown to you. So you will be clearly understanding. So to do that, this part of the session related to the part programming is very much essential. So that's what we are doing for today related to introduction to CNC part programming. So you people have studied SIM already and you're aware about CNC programming, C programming, all those things. So it is just a brushing up of what you have to do exactly. So CNC is nothing but computer numerical control programming language, what we will be using to do the turning operation and the milling operation using the software part. So you'll see CNC, caps turn, caps mill operations, how we follow. For all these things, CNC is the basic requirement, computer numerical control based type of programming. So what does it give basically? The CNC programming will give a list of instructions that is essential to execute the machine controlled unit to achieve the final component. Suppose a final component shape is given to you. To achieve that final component, you should make n number of operations. So to perform n number of operations, you have to give n number of instructions. So if you give the instructions properly, then the proper operation will be done on the given material and you will get the required shape of the component as needed. So this is the basic agenda or the aim of any CNC programming language. So you will achieve the shape of the component what it is needed based on the instructions what you give. So to achieve the CNC programming, to learn the CNC programming to achieve the final component, we have two categories of doing a CNC program. One is the manual part programming and other one is the computer assisted part programming. Okay, so you have two categories. First, in the first thing you will write it the manually and then you will execute it. And later it is a reverse version. So what happens is you will be given a model. So based on the model, then you will segregate and you will generate and part program with the help of a computer assistant. So these are the two ways of getting the required component into the required shape. So we have to start up with manual part programming. So this manual part programming will always involve writing a program manually. So this program will include set of instructions in the form of alphabets and numbers. And writing manual part programming also consists of three categories of the format. One is the fixed sequential format, other one is the tab sequential format, and the last one is the word address format. So these are the three formats. So I'll just show you an example. So here, this is the program written in fixed sequential format. So this is the tab sequential format, and this is the word address format. By looking at this, what do you understand? In CNC, which format we use? Anyone can answer me? Is it fixed sequential, yeah, tab sequential, yeah, word address format? You have studied SIM already. You need to answer me. Which format have you used to write the program when you studied the subject SIM? Is it fixed, tab, or word address format? Any answer? Kindly response. You need to speak out. Which one? Please respond. If you just be idle, it will not help you in any way. Anyone? You have studied SIM, right, in the last semester? Chaitanya? Ankesh? Reply me fast. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Which type of format you used?
Ma'am, no idea, ma'am. I forgot.
You forgot. How can that be? Okay, so usually we use the word address format. Okay, so in our part programming also we use G codes and M codes. So this usually comes in the word address format. In case of sequential format, you align it in a very sequential way. It is sophisticated and it is difficult to understand as well. But it is very easy in writing. Suppose the tool is positioned at x, if this is x coordinate, y coordinate, and z coordinate, and if it needs a rapid movement, then this tool has to give a feed in the minus 10 mm direction. Now minus 10 mm is a feed given in the direction z, and the feed rate is 50 mm per minute without the flood coolant on, means it shows that coolant is not on. So you should be knowing the code which has been used to make the coolant off or coolant on, because you cannot operate continuously without adding a coolant. And to make the coolant on also we have some of the codes what you have to follow. To make the spindle on there is some code, to make the spindle off there is some code. So this is one small requirement what they have told. So based on that, the three formats can be written. So we usually go with the word address format. So I will tell all these what does N stands for, G stands for, X, Y coordinate system, and Z axis, and also the depth of cut and the feed rate, what all you will be giving. So one thing you have to keep, out of all these three formats, we will go with the word address format, which is very comfortable to draft in the program. So this is the way how we write and part programming. So a part programming, what does it contains? It contains not only the instructions, it contains a series of instructions in the coded form, because it should be readable by the machines. You cannot write in statements. Okay, so the part program what you will be writing hereafter will consist of a set of coded instructions. which will be essential to produce the given part. So as the part image is given, similarly you should be able to get the product in your hand. So if you give set of codes in a proper instruction following the format, then you will get that shape of the part, obviously without any errors. Okay, so how the format of the coded instruction will be? Okay, so it will be in the form of N, G, X, Y, and F. If anything else further, even that will be there. Okay, so usually N stands for the sequence number. So which is the sequence which has to follow one after the other. And next, always G01 stands for linear interpolation mode. So if it is having a linear interpolation, then you have to go with G01. So similar codes are there. I will tell you. I'm just showing you an format how it will be in case of our word address format. Because we follow this only, you should be careful. So next, always it stands for X. So once you set the linear interpolation mode addressing to a particular sequence number, you should make the tool fixed to certain coordinate. So you have to give where the X coordinate is exactly, the Y coordinate is exactly, and finally the feed rate to the tool. So how the material has to be removed. How much is the material which has to be removed per minute. So this is how we use the format. Okay. So it helps in controlling the spindle, providing the required feed, moving the tool to the proper X coordinate system, and start the operation, which is essential. So this is a basic format of word address format what we follow in writing and CNC part program. So after this, then we come exactly into the NC block. So what is NC block? NC block is nothing but the numerical control block. So this is a part programming, just manual part programming what you write, and this is the numerical controlled block. So even that speaks the same way. But here you have other parameters other than the manual part what you had over there. So in manual part programming, you just have X coordinate, Y coordinate, and the feed rate. So here, when it is numerically controlled, you will be having n number of parameters. But still, the importance and the use of NC block is the same. So it is a collection of set of instructions which includes the address letters and the sequence numbers. Okay, so it always gives us the information how the tool has to be moved, whether it has to be moved in X direction, Y, yeah, in Z coordinate system. Basically, you should understand the coordinate system properly. X coordinate, Y coordinate, and Z coordinate. So with respect to the coordinate system, how the tool could be varied to get the required shape of the part. Okay, so in general, the NC block looks like this. Always it starts with N, so it provides a sequence number. Sequence number will help you to perform the operation one by one in a sequential way. Okay, so once the sequence number is assigned, then you have to provide the preparatory functions. How you make the movement of the machine. Along with the movement of the machine, even there should be some control in the movement. You cannot blindly give the movement and leave it. Okay, all operation, it will happen continuously without any break, without any stop, without any on. It will not work. The material will become a scrap and the tool will be heated out without coolant, because you have to stop the operation sometime, make the coolant on, make the spindle on for rotation, then off it again.
Ma'am, could you repeat that point, ma'am? The material become?
Which one?
You said some.
Okay. Yeah. The material might get scrapped because of the heat, because you're not.
Scrap,
See, you have a material, okay, means a part is being given to you. So you will provide the codes in such a way that all type of operations will be operating. So suppose if you won't give any stop operation at all, the spindle has to be on, the spindle has to be off. So you have to provide the movement, whether it is in clockwise or anti-clockwise. You have to provide the feed for the tool to come and touch into the material. Then you have to provide a command for the feed for removing of the material per minute, how much you are removing. For every operation, there should be little amount of gap, stop and off, on and off. So if that is not given, all the operation will be going continuously, because it needs a time to change the tool also. If all these things are not done, so all the operations sequentially goes one above the other, and it won't be in a proper way, what as it has been desired from your end. So that material can go on waste. And second option is, if it is going on continuously, the tool also gets heated up and the material also gets heated up, because you need to provide a stop for every operation. And see, whenever the coolant has to be on, you have to give a command, and also off options. So there should be a gap. For all these, set of G codes are there which will assign the separate preparatory functions for the movement of the machines. In the same way, it controls, because it has the capability to off and to on, or to vary, or to remove the tool and change the tool, and to provide the depth, how much is required. After operation is done, again it has to be stopped, and the tool has to come back, and it has to move back to its original position where the tool was fed. So all these needs n number of controls. It cannot be blindly done in all at a single time, and hence preparatory functions are very much essential, which is given in the form of G codes. Hope it is clear. Hello. So next is X, Y, and Z coordinate system. So this will help you to provide the coordinate system, exactly where the tool has to be located and how the feed has to be given, what is the depth of the material to be removed. Everything will be helpful if you know the coordinate system properly. And next will be R. R will be nothing but the radius what you give for circular interpolations. So R will come into picture when you want to make an operation so that you need a circular interpolation in a curved way or whatever is being needed. Okay, so at that time the radius comes into picture. If it is a linear interpolation, then R won't come into the picture. So later you have other parameters. F, what is the feed rate you are providing? And also the spindle speed. What is the speed you are assigning for the movement, so that the tool will do the operation and required operation is being completed. And lastly, T, the tool function to be used. So you need different type of tool to perform different type of operations. So the tool has to be changed right as per the required operation. So all these things will be considered by the tool function, which will be used with respect to the proper operation. So this is just a block format, what I have told you already. So it will assign you the address exactly, and then the operation with respect to the feed. So this is a simple block format, but in general, the entire block format consists of all these parameters. So after knowing you about the NC block, you should know what do you mean by CNC. See, SEE is the software NC. It is not just letter CNC. Letter CNC is computer numerical control. This is the software what we will be using. CNC turning. Similarly, you have CNC milling. So in CNC turning, we perform all type of turning operations. In CNC milling, you perform all milling operations. Apart from that, we have capstone that we will be doing at the later stages. So for this, you should understand what do you mean by CNC turning. So it is a special purpose CNC part program verification software. What we use it to do all type of turning center based programs. So here in CNC turning operation, we will be using only two axes. One is the x-axis, another one is the z-axis. So always x-axis will be perpendicular to the spindle movement. With respect to the spindle movement, the axis x will be always perpendicular to the spindle movement. And one more axis what we use is the z-axis. So this z-axis will help to provide the movement to the tool parallel to the spindle axis. So the tool movement will be always parallel to the spindle axis, and the x-axis will be perpendicular to the spindle movement. And also the z-axis will help in controlling the length of the part which has to be required to perform that particular operation. Suppose a given part might be having a bigger length. but after making the part, the required length might be very small, right? So it will also help in maintaining what is the required length of the part for that particular operation. So both these concepts will be taken care by Z-axis. So when CNC turn software is being used, one thing you have to keep in mind, it has only two axes. One is the x-axis and other one is the z-axis. So basically, when you start up by using the CNC software, what are the information which is very much essential is you should be knowing all the coordinates x, y, z, okay, and then you should be knowing the machining parameters. What is the feed rate and the spindle speed you need to give, when the coolant has to be on and when the coolant has to be off. Okay, this flight and all you are not using in your with respect to your syllabus, and how you control the tool and what are the tool parameters which has to be associated. So when you go and all the tools will be available in the software, you have to select the tool based on the operation what you need, and again based on the material you are selecting for the tool, its physical properties will be there. So what you have to select basically, those are nothing but the tool parameters. So you should be able to select a proper tool and its parameters for that specific operation what you have to perform on the given part. And number of cycles of function needed. Suppose to complete the shape of a given component, you need to do like 3 to 4 operations. So all these operations has to be done one after the other within the given cycle. So in that case, we have to write a sub-program. So when we write a sub-program, it comes into the picture of a canned cycle. So when we use the concept of canned cycle, the writing the program will be reduced. The time required for writing the program will be reduced because you'll be writing the other operations in the sub-programs. So without canned cycle, if you start writing a manual part programming, it will be too lengthier. Okay, so in this way, you can opt for writing different operations within the cycle with the sub-program concept. Along with that, there are some miscellaneous operations which are done usually if it is operated at very high speed and on. So it is like spindle on, off, the direction to rotate or to stop at particular time. So all these are related to the miscellaneous control. We have n number of M codes what we need to follow. So a program should need all these preparatory information before we do start up with a part programming writing either manually or using the software. So this is about some of the information which has to be familiar before writing the program. So with this basic information, I just want to inform you the available G codes. Okay, so for the rapid traverse of the tool, we usually go with G00. To start up with the program in the beginning, after giving the sequential number, you will always show the rapid traverse. So once it has been set, then you will go let to inform whether you need a linear interpolation or you need a circular interpolation. If it is circular interpolation, you need to get some circular surface. Again, you have to decide whether you need a clockwise circular interpolation or anti-clockwise or counterclockwise circular interpolation. So based on that, again the G code changes. So if you need an clockwise circular interpolation, you should go with G02. If you need a counterclockwise circular interpolation, you should go with the code G03. And one more thing is the dwell time. If you do any operation, sometimes you need to give a soaking time or dwell time. So it might be like 2-3 minutes or sometimes might be 10-15 minutes. So depending upon operation you're doing, depending upon the tool you are using and depending upon the material of the part what you are using, you can think about providing the dwell time, because a dwell time should not be very big enough or very small enough. Because if you're doing the operation continuously, the tool also gets heated sometime. You need to give a gap in between. So all these type of requirement where you need a, where you need a pausing time, right? You will assign which is the dwell time so that it will be in the state of pause at that particular operation when you do it. Similarly, G08 will be used to acceleration to increase the speed with which it is operating. We usually use G08 and you can provide the number, what is the variation you need. Similarly, if you want to reduce the speed with which it was operating, then you directly go with the code G09. And after this, the given part could be a 3D part. So where you'll be having XY plane, ZX plane and YZ plane. Again, you should think about on which plane you want to make the part design. So you have to think about, if you need to do the part design on XY plane, you will go with the code G17. If you want to do it on the ZX plane, you have to give the code G18. And if you need the part to be drawn in YZ plane, then you have to give the G code as G19. And later in the software when we use, it will be having two types of units. So you have to select whether you need in metric units or you need in inch units. So based on that, you will be able to select the codes either G70 or G71. It is also sometimes called as G20 or G21. So both are written over here. So both have the same meaning. When we use the software CNC turn, what happens is sometimes the software gets updated and the terminologies which was supposed to be used as G70 and G71 might be changed to G20 to G21 in the advanced versions. But you should not be in a state of confusion. G70 or G20 both will show that it provides the unit in terms of inches, and G71 or G21 will provide you the units in terms of metric system. So this is about G20 and G21. And then you have some other codes like cutter compensation towards left. Compensation of the cutter means you will compensate some of the material right, either towards your right or towards your left. Or suppose the cutter tool what you are using has to be compensated, in the means you want to nullify it, you want to cancel it, then you have to use G40. If you want to compensate the cutter towards your left, you will be using G41. If you want to compensate the thing towards your right, then you'll be using G42. Similarly, if you want to do the formatting in the units or the dimensions what you are using, inch format is 70 and metric format is 71. These both are the same. Then G74 is used for full circle programming off, and G75 is used for full circle programming on. The entire circle programming which comes in circular interpolation could be off if you use the code G74. If you want to keep the circular interpolation on, so circle programming will be kept on until and unless you stop if you use the code G75. And suppose you have the fixed cycles which has to be followed before a particular operation has to be done. So that could be performed or that could be cancelled also. So if you want to cancel the regular process of doing the operation, because suppose you make the machine on and later you will make the tool to be on and you will assign the tool to a particular coordinate system, then gradually you will bring the tool towards the part where it is. Then you will see what is a part program, and then you will come and locate a particular point from which you can start removing the excess material and get the design shape. So that is a regular process. Okay, that is a fixed amount of operation to be done. So if you want to cancel that and directly you want to bring the tool towards the part where you have to start up the operation immediately, then you need to cancel some of the process which are fixed and which are the regular one to be operated. So all these will be related to the fixed cycles, and all the codes from G81 to G89 will provide you the fixed cycles. So we'll come to know about that. Okay. So then G90 will provide you the absolute dimension, and G91 will always provide you the incremental dimensions. So these are the things what you have to understand. So these are the basic G codes, and I'll explain you in terms of different operations with the syntax. At that time, you'll be coming to know between the differences of G81 to G89. So these are the regular fixed cycles one has to do. Apart from that, we have M codes. So M codes are nothing but the miscellaneous codes. Suppose it's working properly, something happens accidentally all of a sudden. You want to make the operation stop. So then directly if you type M00, it will make the program to stop immediately. Okay. And if you don't want to stop all of a sudden, if you want to keep that as an safer side at the back end, as an optional program stop. So whenever you need, after completion of one operation, before going to the next operation, if you just type it as M01, it will ask for an option whether the program has to be stopped or not. At that time, if you click, the program gets stopped. If it is not needed, you can just provide a dwell time and then it will just go on for the next operation. Okay, so that option is also there. An optional program and if needed, or an immediate program stop is needed also, it's there. And then M02. So M02 will make the end of an program. Okay, the entire program, if it has sub-program also, it will by default come to the end of a program. And then M03 will make the spindle of the machine to be on clockwise. If you want to make the spindle on in counterclockwise, then you have to go for M04. And if you want to stop the movement of the spindle directly, you can type M05. And suppose like 3-4 operations are essential to do that particular design on a part. One operation is done. Now it is a time for the tool to be changed. So you need some dwell time and you need some time to change the tool. Then you have to give the option of M06 so that it will provide you an option which tool is needed so that you can select that tool and then start the other operation. Suppose you're doing many operations continuously for a longer period of time, you will need a coolant, right? So if you need a coolant on, after 1-2 process, after every process, it is better to make the coolant on and then off. So you will be in the safer side. So if you type M08, that will provide you the option to on the coolant. If you type M09, the coolant will off. And similarly, if you go with M10, the clamps which are there to hold the part will be on. Okay, after the operation, when you want to release the part, okay, so if you type M11, so the clamps will be off. Then you can release the product, right? Because you need some clamping thing in order to hold the part firm. Then only you can do the operation. So before the operation starts, it's better to make the clamps on. Once it is done, you can release the clamps and you can remove the part. So finally, M30 can be used for directly the program stop and to reset any changes if it is needed. If you use M00, it only stops the program. If you want to reset anything, to make some changes and to start again, then you have to press M30. So these are the basic M codes which are available, which are termed to be as the miscellaneous codes, which will be useful in one or the other way when the machine is on run continuously as per the instructions given by you in the form of part program. If you write the part program wrong, then in the simulation you can see that the entire required part will not be achieved. So there will be some error. It shows the syntax error also. Then you should make the changes. If it is run properly, then the simulation will show you the exact picture of the part which was supposed to be done. Next is, you know this, the N codes I have told you already in the beginning. So this will provide you the sequential number, which is called as the NC block. So this encodes usually identify the number of each block of information. So what does it give? It generally gives good practice to increment each block number by 5 or 10 to allow additional blocks. So it will identify how many blocks of operation are there, how many you are adding or in a sequential order. So N1, N2, N3, it shows N number of operations which are to be done instead of sequential order. So if you have block number 5, you can say that you have 5 type of operations what you're doing, or block 10. It shows a sequential order in which the operation to be done. And also if sudden something happens, right, if it has to be changed in future, then you can easily identify to which block you need to go to make that particular change, because it is not necessary to make the change in each and every block. Each and every block will be having different operations. So in specific block where a specific operation was done, that could be changed if you identify that sequential number in NC block. So for all these, encodes will be helpful. Apart from that, I told you X, Y, and Z coordinates. These are also called as the codes. So these are used to specify the coordinate axis. So the number following the code will define the coordinates at the end of the relative movement with respect to either incremental or absolute reference point. So what you are considering, the absolute coordinate system or the incremental way of. So X, Y, and Z is always with respect to coordinates. Okay, encode will provide you the sequence of the operation which has to be done. And finally, I, J, and K codes. So these are used to specify the coordinate axis when defining the center of circle. So when you want to define a center of circle, I, J, and K codes are essential. Okay, so how it is helpful? Because it helps in providing the respective coordinates from the center of the circle. So I'll show you here when it comes to the syntax. And apart from that, you need F, S, and T codes. So F code will provide you the feed rate, S code will provide you the spindle speed value, and T code will provide you the identification of the tool which is needed to perform that particular function. Okay, I, J, K codes comes only in circular interpolation. Okay, so this you have to remember. In the linear interpolation, you won't use the I, J, and K codes. So you'll come to know about that, don't worry. Okay, so this is about all the codes, the G codes, the M codes, and the regular FST, which is needed for feed rate, spindle, and tool identification, XYZ coordinate systems, N codes for sequential order of the different operations, and IJK codes only for circular interpolation. So this is the basic information related to the codes. Now you should learn some syntax before performing the part programming. So what is this? First of all, you should know the coordinate system. Okay, so the coordinate system as it is shown here. So here this is the Z-axis and this is the X-axis. I told you we will be using only two axes. One is X and other one is the Z. So the Z-axis will be always along the direction in which the spindle is moved. But the Y-axis will be perpendicular to the movement of the spindle. So whenever we consider the CNC turn operation using CNC turn software, only two axes comes into picture. One is the X, which will be perpendicular to the spindle, and the Z, which will be parallel to the movement of the spindle. So the program 0 is the intersection of these axes. So the 0, so where the two axes meets will be the 0. So all coordinates in a program are referred from this point only. The intersection of X and Z axis will be referred to be as 0. So any dimension when you start up to perform an operation using the tool, it will be always started from this point 0 only. So that will be considered as our reference point. So always Z will be along the axis of the part and X will be normal to the axis of the part. This thing you have to keep in mind. And we were telling something about the dimensional aspect, absolute incremental coordinates. So what do you mean by this? So this is the part which has to be achieved with the help of some tool. So here we are speaking about the absolute coordinate system. So in absolute programming, what happens is the end point of the motion is programmed with reference to the program 0 point. Okay, so the end point where the motion has to be completed is always referred with respect to the program 0 point. So where the 0 point will come? 0 point will come in the intersection of the, so this is the x-axis and this is the z-axis. So at the intersection of the x and z-axis, you will get the 0 point. So with respect to the 0 point, you should then start giving the incremental coordinate values. So it is 0. If this distance is overall 20, so this will be 10 here and this will be 10 down. So this will be plus 10 and this will be minus 10. So with this reference of 0, 0, you should then provide the incremental coordinate system either towards positive x or negative x. So this is about the reference point, what you have to consider in case of absolute incremental coordinate system. So here the coordinates are specified as x, z and both only x and z. So x coordinate will provide you the diameter of the part because x is going like this. So this value, which is 20, which is the diameter of the part, is provided across the x direction. Okay, that you have to see how to provide the coordinate system. You should understand. So in incremental programming, the end point is specified with reference to the current tool's position. So how you specify the end point? So suppose you need from here to here, you need to do a finishing. So this is the start point and the end point. So how you will provide the start point and end point? The start point can be done only at the center here where the intersection is. So if it is the start point, you have to end over here. If this is the start point, or else you have to end over here. So you have to specify the incremental programming for the tool at the end point. So if this is the start, this will be the end point. So with reference to that, then you have to give as minus 10 will be the end point for the current tool. So as per that, you have to understand the concept. So here a small example has been given to get an absolute traverse from the point P1 to P2. So this is a point P1. So from P1 to P2, it has to move. And then it has to go for P3. So from P2 to P3, it has to go. And then from P3 to P4. So it has 4 movements from one point to other, from here to here and here to here. So it has to do a taper turning operation and normal turning operation. Right, remove the excess of material. So the given scrap, the given material will be of 40 mm diameter, and the length might be 15 plus 5 plus 10 and some excess material. So you will slightly scrap the material and etch out the excess part such that the required length and the diameter of the part is maintained properly. So in this case, you should always, when you have the variation from different points, P1 to P2, P2 to P3, and then P3 to P4, you have to provide an incremental traverse. You cannot directly go and do all the operations at a single stretch, because here the dimension is bigger, while approaching towards here, the dimension requirement is less. So you will slightly reduce the material and retain the given dimension here at the end. So the removal of the material here will be more. When you come here, the amount of material to be removed will be less. So you have to provide slightly traverse motion on the incremental way. So you will do the traverse from P1 to P2 first and then from P2 to P3. So this is retained as it is because the overall dimension given is only 40 mm. So no need to do anything here to get the required dia of 40. So for this incremental coordinate, we use the coordinate system specified for the diameter as U and W. So U is the incremental diameter of the part. So you will use the increment. First it was 0, 0. So from 0, 0, you are providing an increment to 20. Okay, so if you need 20, here you need to have an traverse work direction of 10, right? So it has to move 10 above and 10 below. Oh, 10 is to go to this position. So while rotating, this distance will be achieved. So then you have to again, it has to come back here and get the required distance of 10 mm. So if I tell you now, you won't be able to understand. So I will tell you in depth. Now I am just explaining you what do you mean by absolute incremental coordinate system. And one more code what you have to understand is G00. Always we use this in the beginning. What is this G00? We usually use for rapid traverse. So what is this rapid traverse? The tool has to move rapidly and set allotted to a particular position from which the operation could be started. So when the tool is moving to a position preparatory to execute a cutting motion, it has to be fixed to a particular motion. So the tool has to move rapidly from its initial rest position. It will be aligned in a particular rest position. From there it has to come for the position where the material is nearby to it. So if you press G00, it will come little bit nearer to the workpiece where it is. So this is called as a rapid traverse. So in the beginning, always we do, after giving the sequential number related to the n, whether it is n01 or 02, whatever, we provide the rapid traverse as G00, so that the tool comes nearer to the workpiece with respect to the x and the z direction. Then you can slightly move on the tool towards your right, your left, where the material is allocated. So from there onwards, you can put the values for x and z, and to see that it has reached initial position. So from the initial position, then you can etch out the extra part by doing different operations. So this is about the rapid traverse, why we use G00. So the format is usually you write G00, X stands for the values of X, which is perpendicular to the spindle movement, right? And Z will be parallel to the spindle movement. So this coordinate system, you will provide the value of X and the value of Z. And next, what you should understand is G01. So G01 is a linear interpolation. You don't have any circular interpolations here. Means the tool has to move linearly in a straight line. It doesn't want to move in any curvature part. If you need any curvature type of movement, you have to go for circular interpolation. So first you have to decide which interpolation you want to go, whether it is linear or circular. If it is linear, we've always type G01. So first you type G00, and based on the interpolation, next you will type it as whether it is G01 or G02. Okay, so next the tool moves along a straight line if you type G01. The same operation has been written in every example. Okay, so the code will be here G01 followed with X coordinate system, Z coordinate system, and the feed rate what you are giving to perform that particular operation. So this is the syntax for using linear interpolation, and the previous one was a syntax used for rapid traverse. Always the first step will be providing the sequential number and providing the rapid traverse. So in the next step, you will provide which type of interpolation you are going on. Along with that, it's very essential to give the feed rate with X and Z axis. So this will be the second step what you give related to linear interpolation. Suppose after linear interpolation, you need some kind of circular interpolations. If it is given in the diagram of the program, so if it is given in the diagram, what shape you need it finally. So for circular interpolation, again, you have two codes. Either it could be G02 or G03. So if you want in clockwise, you use the code G02. If you want in anti-clockwise, you will use the code G03. And the code is again the same. So here you write G02 slash, if you require only in the clockwise, you can just write G02. If you need in both the way, then you have to write G02 slash G03. It has to be again followed with the coordinate system of X and Z. Along with that, we should not forget to give the radius of the curvature you need. If you don't give the radius of curvature which is needed, then it won't provide you the circular interpolation. Okay, then even the tool will not perform properly. It won't operate because neither you have given the linear interpolation syntax or you haven't typed a proper circular interpolation value related to the radius. So it won't operate. So always you should give the radius for the required curvature along with the feed rate to remove the material. So this is the syntax what we follow for circular interpolation. And I told you, so this I, J, K will come into picture in case of circular interpolation. So what are these? This I, J, K will not be there in case of linear interpolation. I told you in the beginning while explaining the G codes. So if you need both circular and if you need clockwise and counterclockwise circular interpolation, you will write G02/03. Then it will be followed with X and Z, you know, X axis and Z axis. What are this I and K now? So I and K are the relative distance from the arc, which starts the point to the arc center. So here you can see. So you have a start point for the arc and an end point for the arc. So the center with you, if you have drawn an arc through 3 points, you will be having the center here. So from this distance to the start point, this distance will be K, and the distance from here to the center of the circle. Suppose, first you please understand, if this is a center, you will be having the entire circle. Okay, so this is the exact center and this is the start point and this is the end point. So you need to know the exact value of x-axis and the z-axis because the intersection of these two will provide you the reference 0, point. So from that reference point, what you are going down to the center will provide you minus k, because if it goes above, it will be plus I. If it comes down, it will be minus I. And if the direction was in this way, then you would have got plus k. If it is coming in the opposite direction, then the value of k will be negative. So based on the arc you are turning, either counterclockwise or clockwise, the value of I and k with respect to the center changes. So this coordinate system you should be very careful to give. So while giving this, you should always refer to the x and the z axis. So x axis will be perpendicular to the spindle movement and the z axis will be parallel to the spindle movement. So k will be parallel to the movement of the spindle and I will be parallel to the x axis. So if it is coming down, the value of I will be negative. If it is going up, the value of I will be positive. So if it is going towards your left, the value of k will be negative. If it is going towards your right, the value of k will be positive. Again, this depends whether it is moving counterclockwise or clockwise to get the required circular curvature. So this is the importance of I and k. So this provides a relative distance from the arc start point to the arc center. So I told you I is related to the x coordinate of the start point and the x coordinate of the center. Similarly, k will be related to the z coordinate of the start point and the z coordinate of the center. I and k must be written with their signs always. So when you give the value of I and k, you cannot write blindly only positive values, because depending upon the clockwise or counterclockwise, the value of I and k changes. I explained you right now. So while writing in the part programming, you should also show whether the value of I and k is positive or negative. After that only you will be giving the feed rate with which the excess material has to be removed based on the required operation. So this is the syntax for circular interpolation. All of a sudden when you write a program, you need a circular curvature. So then this I and k will come. Then what is it? You should not be cracking your head. You should be knowing the value of I and k, how you have to calculate. To calculate, you should be strong enough in the coordinate system and to identify the center point of the coordinate system where it is. It will be 0, 0. So from that point, anything moving up will be positive and anything moving down will be negative. Okay, so from that reference point, anything moving towards your right will be positive for Z and anything moving towards your left for Z will be negative. So if you follow this basic sign convention, then you will not go wrong in writing the value of I and k in case of circular interpolation. And also in case of linear interpolation also, the x-axis and the z-axis dimension, coordinate system, sign convention will remain the same. So next operation what you have to know is G32. So G32 is usually used for threading operation. So what happens here? A threading motion is a motion along a straight line, but it is not a linear interpolation motion here. The one thing you have to keep when you have to provide an threading operation, don't think that it is a linear operation. Even though the movement of the threading takes place along a straight line, you cannot fit that operation into a linear motion, because here the tool does not start immediately when a command is encountered. What happens here? It is coordinated with the rotation of the spindle, because the threading has to be happened. So it is basically depending upon how the rotation of the spindle is taking place. So in that case, the tools will start moving only when the index pulse is received from the spindle encoder. Okay, this is some theoretical aspect. Don't worry much about it. So you should just learn to understand the format here, because you are not going into depth in related to your sim theory. It is only the practical aspect, but still you need to know how to calculate the lead value. For that I am telling you. Okay, so here what happens is the tool starts moving when the index pulse is received. So there will be an indicator to show that the index pulse is received. So once it is received, the tool starts moving and the spindle get encoded. So this pulse then occurs at a specific angular position of the spindle, and the spindle starts rotating. So this is based on the rotation of the spindle. So based on the rotation, what happens is the lead value has to be calculated. So the lead value will be equal to pitch into number of the starts. So what do you mean by it? You should know what is lead. So lead is the axial distance the nut advances what you receive in one revolution of the screw. So when it rotates for one screw revolution, it is the amount of lead distance traversed. So while this pitch will be the distance between the two adjacent threads, you will be having n number of threads. So from the distance between the two threads, from the top of this thread to the top, so that will be called to be as a pitch value. Okay, so related to that, you will be knowing a value of lead is equal to sum. So in case of that, you will be having different threading motions also, internal thread cutting. For that again we have a different code, but the regular threading motion format is G32. You will type it for threading motion. That will be followed by the x coordinate, the z coordinate, and F will be the lead value for that particular thread. So you should just write what is the lead value of it. So it will show. So this is a basic example for internal thread cutting, which is being explained. So here this is a program which shows the thread cut of 2 mm, and they will give you the value, the pitch to a depth of 0.6 mm from the point P1 to P2. So this is P1 and P2. So you need to perform the thread cutting from P1 to P2, right? And the pitch value is given as 0.6 mm. So then you will go with starting G00. You will initialize the position of the tool, and you have to provide exactly the x coordinate, which is 19.6, and again z, how it is 2. You have to calculate. I will explain you all in depth. So now I am telling you all the operations, and then you will go for first. This is initialization. What is G00? I told you. Anyone can tell me what is G00? I told you rapid traverse. So first you will write as rapid traverse. So after that, since you're going for threading operation, you will directly go for G32. So once this threading operation is done along the z-axis, you're operating the tool along the z-axis because you need the thread cutting formation. You're not giving any x coordinate value here. Initially, you will give the x coordinate value as 19.6. So it is nearer to P1. So from there, once it is near to P1, this entire distance is 20, but the thread cutting has to come swap down. So it is given as 19.6. So from here it start moving parallel to the axis of the Z. So you will just provide the coordinate for the Z value. And now it is -8 here when you make the thread cutting operation, because it is moving towards your left. The Z value you have to feed towards your left, then only it is negative. If it is feeding towards your right, then it becomes positive. So you should be careful to give the dimension. So once this thread cutting is done, based on the feed rate given, then again the tool will move away from the workpiece. For that again you will click rapid traverse. Now here the tool is in rapid traverse. G00, it comes nearer to the tool, but not touching to the edge of the workpiece. Okay, so when you provide G32 with and first you will provide G00 and you will provide the X and the Z coordinate system such that it comes nearer to the workpiece. And then you provide the feed rate so that it removes the excess material. G32 is mainly for thread cutting, so it does the thread cutting operation. Then again you put G00, which is rapid traverse. Once the operation is done for single cycle, it goes away from the workpiece. And then again you provide the other coordinate system. First it was 19.6 and now you give 19.2 and Z value still remains the same. And again you provide the depth of cut of -8 and the feed rate is same, and you will start doing this until the complete thread cutting operation is done. So the x-axis, it is moving from top towards nearly down until the required thread cutting operation is done on the both the surface of the given part. So this is basically for G32. You will clearly understand when you see with respect to the software, so how it operates, how if you type anything wrong dimension, how the syntax error comes, and how abnormal operation will takes place in the software if you have not typed the program properly. So all those you can realize. Okay. So now I am making you understand the concept of the syntax. Next, while performing operation, I told it's necessary to give some dwell time. So G04 is the code what we use for dwell time. Means if you need some rest in between, a soaking time, a resting time in performing some operation, you can type the word G04. The format what we use is G04. You need a dwell time at particular coordinate value along the X direction. So you will provide the dwell time in terms of seconds. It will not be in minutes, it will be in the unit of seconds. Okay, so you will write as per the requirement what is the dwell time you need. And dwell time always should be in terms of second. And along with this, you should be knowing about F, S, and T commands. The feed rate is specified in mm. I told you F stands for feed and S stands for spindle, right? And the tool, it is the type of tool you are going to select. So the format is the feed rate. When you give some feed rate, it should be specified in mm per revolution. Okay, so F is provided in terms of mm per revolution and time is provided in terms of second. So this is just an again example. If you need to provide and feed of 0.25. Okay, so this means that the feed rate is 0.25 mm per revolution. And if you want to make the spindle on in clockwise, you have to write M03 spindle clockwise. And if you need spindle in counterclockwise, you will type it as M04. After the spindle has been moved in both clockwise and counterclockwise, if you want to stop it immediately, in the next line you can write M05. So which makes the movement of the spindle stop all of a sudden, irrespective of what the operation is going on. If you type M05, the spindle movement gets stopped. So even the operation which was performing will be stopped for some particular period of time until you type again spindle on. So this is how the syntax we write it. Okay, so M03, it is a particular operation going on with code G96. So where M03 shows for the spindle on in clockwise direction. And spindle has been rotating at 3000 RPM here. Only S stands for the rotation of the spindle. If the spindle has to be rotated, you cannot blindly write G50 S 3000. Before making the spindle rotate, you should make the spindle on in which direction. So you will first provide the direction and then you will show the speed with which the spindle has to rotate. So this is few examples to make you understand the concept. This is also one more just to show an example. G97 S1350 is the RPM value and it is M04. So what do you mean by M04? So M04 is now you are having the spindle rotation in the counterclockwise direction and hence it is written as M04. So this is just an example to show how you can write the speed of the spindle as well as whether the spindle has to be off or on. And suppose if the tool has to be changed, with a single tool all the operations cannot be performed. So it changes. So if you want to change the tool, so this means to say that you need to change the tool. For that you have an format. So we use T small a twice and small b twice. So what does small a stands? Small double A will always provide you the tool number. And small letter double B will always provide you the tool offset number. So example, it is like tool number is 3 here and again the tool offset number is also 3. So this means that both the offset and the tool number is 3. So if you write anything related to this, it shows that the tool change format has both the numbers same, the tool number as well as the offset number. And this is the basic program structure. How does it look like? So before going to this, it's better if I start up with a common example. So these are all few sample programs. Okay, let me just show you this, an overview how we start a program. So if this is a program block, this is a simple program which has been written. So before writing the program, always first you should write the program character. So we start up with percentage, okay? So always we type the percentage. So that indicates the program's start character. So this is the start character you have to type. If you write the entire program and if you haven't written the start character, then it won't take the program at all and show the simulation. So always remember you have to start up with the program start character. And then next you should always assign a number for the program. Starting initially it will be 00. After that you can assign the number based on the programs you are giving one by one to the system. So if you write 00998, then it shows that the program number is 998. Then always we go up with G00, which is nothing but the rapid traverse, followed with the dimension of the X and dimension of the Z axis. So what it helps to move the position away from the part for the tool change, because you use one tool and do the operation. And to use another tool, the existing tool should be moved from that position. The tool has to be changed, then only it has to come back. For that, a rapid traverse of the tool is essential. So when you need to assign the tool away from the given workpiece, you have to go for the rapid traverse, put the tool which is essential, and then we will start. Suppose you, for that reason, initially you will keep the tool away from the workpiece. Then you will change the tool. So you are writing here which tool you need. T01, T01. So what does it indicate? I showed you the tool format. So first two numbers shows the tool number and then the next two numbers will show the offset number. So similarly, tool number is 01 and 01 is the offset number. While selecting the tool, it shows in the database T01 stands for which operation. So tool number 1 stands for drilling operation. And there will be n number of drill tools with respect to the offset number. So you will search for the offset number in the database and you will select the drill bit of offset 01. So once you select the tool, then you have to set out what is the spindle speed you need, right? To make the spindle speed, you need to make G97 enable. Then only you can set whether you need the rotation of the spindle either in the clockwise or anti-clockwise. In this case, we have selected G97, means you need the rotation of the speed in the clockwise direction. So these are the basic steps. One, the percentage is also the basic step, and providing the sequential number, the n block, is also same. Then you will always type the rapid traverse and keep the tool away from the workpiece based on the dimension of the workpiece given. Then when the tool is away from the workpiece, then you will put the tool which is necessary to perform the operation. Suppose drilling has to be done, you will feed the tool. Drilling operation tool is referred to as T01 in the database of the computer. So with that, you will select the offset. And once the tool is ready, to make the machine operate, the spindle has to move. If it has to move, you have to see which is the speed required. As per that, you will write the spindle speed. And to make the spindle turn, you should make the spindle on. So you will on the spindle M03 such that it rotates in clockwise direction. So once the spindle speed is set, you cannot directly go for the operation because the workpiece can become hot. So you have to make the coolant on. So before starting, you see that the coolant is on. To make the coolant on, we will use M08. Okay, so then the drilling operation starts. So for drilling operation, again you go for the rapid traverse first because the tool is somewhere away and you have changed it. And the tool has to come back to the workpiece where it is. So you use the rapid traverse with the drill bit tool attached to it properly. And then you start providing the feed for the drilling operation. Here the value of X will be nothing because drilling operation should be moved in the direction in which the spindle is moving. So it is moving with the value of Z, they have given you a positive value, right? So later it has to be negative because drilling operation should come within the given material. So later, first you will assign the tool at a specific position with the rapid traverse. So with the rapid traverse, you won't see that it is touching the material or going within the material. So it is given nearly to, you can give Z1 or Z2. It is almost nearer to the reference of the workpiece. Once the tool has been fixed at the rapid position, then you will provide the depth for the Z-axis. So it goes within the given material in minus 30 mm. Okay, so then that drilling will take place. With what is the feed rate you are giving? The feed rate what you are giving is 0.15 mm. So based on the given feed rate, it takes certain period of time to complete that hole. Okay, so once that operation is done, the material will be heated, even the tool will be heated, so it is necessary and the operation will be completed. Since the coolant is on, it won't be heated, it will be cool. So once the operation is ended, what you have to do is you have to rapid out the hole, means you have to remove the tool within inside. So you have to again use the rapid traverse. So rapid traverse helped in moving the tool away from the material because once hole is done, if the tool is within it, so you cannot extract the material, you cannot extract the component. So you will fix the component there only, but you will remove the tool. So to remove the tool away, you need to use the rapid traverse. So you will use the rapid traverse and remove the tool. Along with that, you should also off the coolant. Why? Because now the operation is not happening. So you will write M09. As a result, the coolant gets off. and you're writing Z2, that shows that the tool is moving. Z minus 30 means the tool is within the material to make the drill. But now Z2 means it is away from the reference point where the workpiece is. So due to rapid traverse, the tool is away and no operation is taking place, and hence the coolant has to be offed. So you have off the coolant. So then what happens is the coolant is off, you have to off the spindle also, it is not operating. So you will use the same command of rapid traverse, and then you will make the spindle off. So M05 will provide you the spindle off. And you're lifting the material and you're lifting the tool away. So X was here 0. So when it comes to 200, you are moving the tool away from the given component in the positive X direction. So the tool is totally away, no operation has been done, and hence you will off the spindle. So now drilling operation is done. So once drilling operation is done, then you need one more operation. So here I am using a second tool which is called as T02 and 02. So in the database of the software, 02 always refers to the grooving operation. Okay, so grooving tool is assigned as 02, and you will select the offset of the grooving tool to be 2. So now it is in time to change the tool. So you will change the tool to the number 2. So to get that grooving tool, you have to type T02 twice. So after that, again the same thing. So you have to, for grooving operation, we go with G96. I will tell you the syntax for that. First, I want to show you the explanation of the concept, or else you won't understand. So for the grooving operation, we go with the code G96, and then the spindle speed which is required for grooving operation is 180. So you will write S for spindle and provide the spindle speed as 180 meter per minute. Along with that, it's now necessary to make the spindle on. If the spindle is not on, the spindle cannot be revolved at this speed. So you'll make the spindle on. To make the spindle on, you will type M03. Then later, if you want to reduce, limit the spindle speed within particular RPM, then you will give G50 S3500. So this will provide you the limitations in the, means you are applying some constraints so that it cannot revolve more than 3500 RPM. So the limiting spindle speed is restricted to 3500 RPM. Whenever you are applying some constraints, you have to go with G50. So after this is done, now before starting, first you will make the spindle on, then you will set the spindle speed, and before doing the operation, what you have to do is you have to make the coolant on. So to make the coolant on, even the tool has to be set. So you will use the rapid traverse and you will assign the tool far away from the workpiece, and you make the coolant on. So once it is done, you will provide the feed rate. So grooving operation, you will provide G01, it starts with grooving operation, and X value is 30, positive 30, and you are providing a feed rate of 0.1. So with this feed rate, the groove cutting will happen along the direction of X axis. And then you need some dwell time of 1 second. And for 1 second dwell time, you have to go with G04 and provide a dwell time of 1 second. So once the operation is done, you have to remove the tool away. For that, you have to go for rapid traverse, right? So you will provide the rapid traverse and give the value of X as 54. So from the reference 00, it goes above 54 mm positive away from the workpiece, because you are using rapid traverse. So the grooving operation is also over. First we did the drilling operation, then the grooving operation. So once the grooving operation is over, we should make a spindle off. So along with the rapid traverse, you will make the spindle off by typing M05. So once the spindle is off, there is no used in making the coolant on, because nothing is operating. So you will directly type it as M09, so the coolant gets off. So once all the operation is completed, to stop the program immediately, you should type M02. So when you type M02, the program ends. After that, by default, you have to write a percentage value. Okay, this is just a program start character and a program end character. Without putting start and the end character, even though you have written the program properly, it won't run and show the simulation. So always you should be having a starting character and an end character. So this will help in writing the program exactly as required. Hope you understood the concept. Similarly, the other operations could be done. Here I have just shown you the example for drilling and the grooving operation. Kindly answer me. Hello? Hello? Are you people there? I need a response. Okay, what's the problem with the mic? Why you people are not interacting through? The message is okay, it should be interactive and you should ask any doubts if you have. Okay, or else how will I come to know you people are listening or not? So next is, I told you the operation could be performed using CAN cycle and without CAN cycle, but in your syllabus we do all using CAN cycle only because it helps in cut shorting the length of the program, what we have to type, so that it will be easy for us to write the program with sub-programs. So you should be having the syntax and the format to use the CAN cycle. I'll just complete within 5-10 minutes, so that from from the next week we can start up with the program and with the software. Exactly, so one program we will learn to write and the same thing we will execute in the software. So what happens in case of CAN cycles? So a CAN cycle is the one which executes a sequence of motions which are required. It's not necessary that you have to write a specific operation. I showed you now one program where you are writing a specific operation for grooving, a specific operation for drilling. Similarly, if you have 3-4 operations, you have to write one by one, and it will be a lengthier. But if you use a sub-programming concept by the CAN cycle format, you can do the sequence of motions which can be executed on a single workpiece. So a single block can replace the motions of cutting and rapid motions and n number of operations. Okay, so here we use the code G90 for a turning cycle. So whether you need a straight turning or whatever thing could be possible. The normal format is G90 followed with X coordinate, Z coordinate and the feed rate. Here also it is for linear interpolation where we use only X and Z axis only. Y axis will not come into picture. This I have told you. I have to just show you a sub-programming part. So this is for taper turning. So if you need a taper turning, this is the format what we follow. Okay, so for taper turning, what are the things you have to give is G90 will be the common and you have to provide the X coordinate and you have to provide the Z coordinate, and R will be the taper amount. What is the radial amount of the material to be scrapped out to get the required taper angle? To calculate a taper angle, you know the formula. So based on that, you have to provide the taper amount which has to be extracted. So that has to be calculated with respect to the feed rate. So here you need to know two constraints. One is the cut start at point P1 and ends at point P2. So here this is the P1 and this is the P2. So you should know the variation which is coming into picture from P1 to P2. So the radius variation what you are getting from here to here could be calculated as diameter at the start of the cut and diameter at the end of the cut. So this is the diameter at the start of the cut and this is the diameter at the end of the cut divided by twice the radius. Okay, so this is the R value. R is not the radius, it is the radial taper amount. So here you can see this is the beginning diameter. It's diameter at the start and diameter at the end. So if you take the difference of these two, we get the radial value which will yield as the taper amount. So once the taper amount is calculated, it will then smoothly will generate the taper operation for the specified distance from this point to this. Even here it will move in linear interpolation only. No circular interpolation is necessary. And hence I and j value will not come into picture. So here while calculating you should be very clear how you calculate the radial value. So this value you will be knowing, this value you will be knowing, you will take the difference of these two and divide by 2 times the value of R given. They will give the radial value here. So if you substitute the value of R, then you can calculate the taper value and accordingly if you give the feed rate slightly you will get the taper turning as required. So this is how a taper turning operation has to be done. So here the same thing. Initially you will go with the rapid traverse. You will fix the tool away near to the workpiece and then you go for taper turning. G90 stands for taper turning and you provide the dimension for x-axis which is 65. Okay, and then Z is minus 50 because it has to go within inside from this distance to this. It is moving in negative direction. Towards your right is positive. Towards your left is negative. So you have to write minus 50. If you type it as plus 50, it will come away from the workpiece. It cannot do the taper turning at all. So you should be very careful in giving the dimension. Okay, so then you provide the radial value as 2.5. So from the initial diameter to the diameter at the outer edge. So it starts moving in a tapered way based on the radial distance what you have given, and it will remove the material based on the feed rate you have given. Okay, so by this you will get the required taper turning operation. So based on taper turning, we can perform the part programming in the next class. Similarly, if you want to do a facing operation, which is the code we use to do the facing operation, facing cycle has been done by using G94. Okay, so G94, if you type, it does the facing operation. Only across the face, it will remove the material until and unless you get a smooth finish and what constraints you have applied to it. So from here after, G95 stands for facing operation and the format used is G94 followed with the X coordinate, Z coordinate and the feed rate. So X coordinate will provide the end point of the cut where you want to end and Z coordinate will provide the end point of the cut where you want to end along the Z axis and you will give the feed rate. As per your feed rate, it works on. So this is the syntax, this is an example for facing operation. Initially you will start up with the rapid traverse and you will keep the tool little bit nearer to the workpiece. So you are giving X 122 and Z as 1. Z as 1 means it is nearer to the workpiece. If it is minus 1 then the tool will go inside. So usually you can keep Z2 or Z1, both are fine. Okay, so this will be the initial position. So once the initial position is set, then this G94 has to come down. Okay, so next you will write G94. After that, you will give the coordinate exactly where you want to do the facing operation. The facing operation has to be done here right from 70 mm. So this is the distance where you need to do the 70 mm. So this overall is 70. Okay, so X 70 you will give. So directly it will come here and then you will provide Z minus 3 means you're providing, means you want to remove a material of minus 3 mm and perform the facing operation. So the tool gets into the material minus 3 mm into depth and it removes the material for facing operation at a feed rate of 0.25. mm per revolution. Okay, so once it is done, the phasing operation is done. So if you type Z6.0, so it will stop with the phasing operation. So this is these type of syntax can be used as a sub-program within the main program, because we are dealing all these with respect to the CAN cycle. So similarly, taper phasing, any type of operations can be done. The thread operation we have done with the phasing operation. Right, so this taper phasing operation is done. So tapering operation we learned about, and phasing operation we learned about. Then threading also we have done. So in threading again, if you use G92, it is for threading cycle. So in threading cycle again you need the same parameters X, Z and W. So it provides, sorry, X, Z and F. So F will provide you the lead value of the thread based on the pitch of the thread what you are calculating. So X will be the coordinate of the thread perpendicular to the spindle movement, and Z will be the coordinate of the end point parallel to the spindle movement. So similarly, it is an small operation which is showing you, and thread cutting operation. First you will put rapid traverse with some coordinate system for X and Z. Usually by this value the tool will be somewhere near the workpiece, but it won't touch the workpiece. Then you will write G92 for the threading operation. Then you will provide the dimension in such a way that it will come nearer to the workpiece. This entire distance is 59. So when you provide X 59, it is coming always almost near to 1 mm below the 60 mm. So from there onwards, you will provide the depth for Z. It is minus 65. So from here till here, it will move inside the material and it performs the thread cutting operation. With what feed rate? With a feed rate of 3 mm per revolution. So with this, the thread cutting operation will be done. So these are the different operations which could be done: the thread cutting, the phase turning operation, and taper turning operation. So based on all these, in the next class, I will be making you to understand how to write an operation, how to write a part programming which has thread cutting operation and then drilling operation and phasing operation. So all three, if you write separately, it will be a huge part programming. So if you use the concept of CAN cycle, so you'll be having the sub programs within, so that you can cut short the program and do the required operation to get the simulation for the desired shape. So that first we will learn in the next class, a specific program which shows all these three operations, and the same thing we have to then see in the CNC turn software package. So you have to understand both. So that we'll be doing in next class. Now if you have any doubts, you're free to ask me. Hope you understood the concept of G codes, M codes, different syntax, what you have to use, what is the importance of the G codes, when the miscellaneous codes have to be used. Hope it is clear. Kindly respond. You have to speak out. I haven't taken the attendance yet. After your response only, I will take the attendance. Yeah, Sri Prasad. Ankesh. Hello.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Were you listening? You're sleeping.
No, ma'am, listening.
Did you understand?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, I understood, ma'am.
Yeah. Did something got freshed up what you had studied already? Because this is nothing new. You have studied this already, right?
Yeah, right, ma'am.
Did you remember something at least? If you have to refresh, you have to remember, or else it will be difficult from the next class, because you have to write the program on your own. Okay. If you can understand the concept, then only you can write it.
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am, no doubt.
Okay. Sri Prasad is there. Ask, I'm calling your name for the attendance. Sri Prasad. Absent. Ankesh. Ankesh,
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
Dheeraj,
Yes, ma'am.
Chaitanya,
Yes, ma'am.
Akhil, okay, Balaji,
Yes, ma'am.
Beldar Mohammad,
Yes, ma'am.
Basavraj,
Yes, ma'am.
Chandan,
Present, ma'am.
okay, Chetan Kumar, okay, Dheeraj,
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Ishant, Arshad,
Yes, ma'am.
Kanishka, okay, Mohammed, okay, NS Sri Prasad,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, anyone else whom I haven't read out the name?
Ma'am, Gautam, ma'am.
Okay, Gautam,
Anil, ma'am.
your name
Anil.
was not being displayed. Okay, I'm sorry, Gautam is present.
Yes,
Who else? I have missed out anyone?
Ma'am, Anil.
Anil Kumar,
Anil, ma'am.
Anil KV.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, everyone, have you written your name and USN number in the chat room? If anyone have missed out, kindly do type it out right away. So if you don't have any doubts, I'll just wind up at now. If you have doubts,
Ma'am, can you share the PPT in classroom?
which PPT you need?
This
Yeah,
PPT.
I'll share it. The last PPT as well as this PPT, I will just put it in the Google Classroom, okay? So that you can refer to it. Anything else? Okay then,
No, ma'am.
thank you, take care, have a nice day until we meet in the next class and be safe, take care.